Tour Junkies.
The 250 to 1. Hudson Swafford. Baby. Caddie. What up, DB? It's the Tour Junkies. We're here. It's the Farmers Insurance Open. Fresh off that 250 to 1 Hudson Swafford outright at the Amex. Give it to me, Huddy. Deliver me the goods. Presented by Covers.com, the only place to go if you love sports and you love winning and you love betting and you love betting content on all the sports. Winning starts at Covers.com. NFL, you only got a couple weeks here, folks. You got the the NFC, AFC championship stuff. Then you got the Super Bowl. That's it. Scratch that itch. You got the NHL. You got the NBA going on. Of course, golf stuff's over there. Our exclusive head-to-head matchups, top 20 write-ups are there every single week for free. It's the only place you can go to get that. And Covers.com is where you go to start your betting process. They've been doing it for over 25 years, serving over 20 million sports bettors annually. So thank you to Covers, big supporters of the Tour Junkies podcast. Head over to Covers.com. Check it out. Pat, man, feels good. Feels really good to have a winner finally. Finally.
I know you're excited. I mean, I have to say, you are getting a little concerned because I had the 4 winners in a row. And, and you had like a little bit of a hard fall, but, it's you came back strong. I mean, basically my winners, all the winners I had in a row pretty much added up to 250 to 1.
250 to 1. My Hudson Swafford radar is just good, man. We hit him a couple years ago, 150 to 1. So there have been 13 events that we have covered since the beginning of the 2021 PGA Tour season at the Fortinet Championship. Pat has hit 4 winners out of the 13. I did hit Victor Hovland at the Hero, but it was like 16 to 1 or whatever. And then Hudson Swafford. In 13 events, we've delivered you 6 outright winners on our official betting cards. I mean, what are we even doing here? What are we even doing? If you're watching on YouTube, you should super chat us a bunch of money right now. David Speaks, if you're in here right now, you should super chat $10,000 right now.
That's a little.
That man is.
That's a big ass there, DB. That's a big ass. But
well, shoot for the moon.
I mean, it's hard to hit outrights. Listen, it's not easy to hit outrights. It's not like we're throwing out. I mean, we're giving you top 20s and things like that, but it's not like. I mean, those are way easier to hit, obviously. And a 250 to 1 outright, that's just like that only comes around once every so often.
It was so fun to watch, too. I watched the whole back nine. I got friends texting me about the Bucks game, and I'm like, listen, I didn't watch one single down live of the Bucks game. I texted my buddy. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm watching Hudson Swafford drag his nutsack all over the back nine.
Maybe you need multiple TVs, DB. I mean, we can't do multiple TVs.
What are we even doing? If I can't have multiple TVs, are we even doing this right? Look at this. Here's another winner. Who's this? Cody Neal. He hit a big one. Man, the Nut Hut was exploding with victories last night. It was just banana land. AC's in there having to add a bunch of new people to the Nut Hut Hall of Fame for huge wins, big takedowns, big betting tickets. It was so fun to see. I love being in the Nut Hut when that happens.
How about the fact that you didn't have to really even sweat that one out? You did.
A lot of people creeping up that leaderboard.
Yeah, but then he eagles what 15 or 16. Birdie 17. I mean, he gets up by 2 or 3. It makes it almost easy on you.
But then he had that long par save on 18. I was thinking, oh my God, if he misses this and Hoagie birdies, we're in trouble. But last week, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, the Nut Hut is $10 a month. It is the best $10 a month you have ever spent in your life for so many reasons, right? Even 1 week like this pays for the whole year because we were all over Swafford on the show. We were all over Swafford in the articles and all that stuff. We were all over him in the Nut Hut. But a little nugget that dropped in the Nut Hut last week, to me, and actually our guest, because we do have a special guest coming up here in just a second, he dropped a very similar nugget the week before in the Nut Hut. But there's a little section in the Nut Hut called Caddie Info. And it's, let us be your caddy. We put in a lot of key information in there on the course, on players, all the press transcripts and all that kind of stuff that we go through and sort out and read. And it's a great place to go and check before you finalize lineups and betting cards. But last week I put in there on Wednesday that Lee Hodges is reportedly hitting it real nice. And he was like
Real nice.
$6,300 or whatever. And I said, do with it what you will. Don't shoot the messenger, whatever happens. But Lee Hodges is hitting it good. And what happens? Lee Hodges almost wins the tournament, finishes like third.
I think he showed up well, but I mean, besides just playing
the putter was
extremely good,
yeah.
He held his own for a rookie on a Sunday with his first lead to finish third. Yeah. It wasn't like, I mean, he didn't choke or anything. He just, I mean, he got beat by Swafford. I mean, Swafford throws 8 under on you. That's going to win a tournament.
Yeah. But little nuggets like that, and the little nugget that our guest coming up dropped the week before, that literally pays. One of those weeks could pay for your entire membership for the year. So I don't know what you're doing. Get in the Nut Hut. Go to tourjunkies.com/Nut Hut and sign up. Join the Discord server. That's where it's at. It's a good time. Pat, we got some more new content coming out this week. We just dropped a Kevin Streelman interview. That is live on YouTube right now, as well as wherever you listen to our podcast. It's on there. Great interview with Streels. He's been on the tour 15 years. The guy's made $28 million on the golf course or something. Like, he was fantastic. He was genuine. He told some great stories. A Bryson story that he hadn't told to a lot of people. Talked a little bit about Tiger. He chimed in on the betting and DFS stuff. And he actually answered one of our questions with like, are you asking me this as if you're talking about betting? And I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, well, if I were to answer that, I'm not supposed to, but here's what I would say. Like, he was so cool about it. Such a good dude. You got to check that interview out with Kevin Streelman. Our boy Mark Hill's got the DP World Tour show dropping again this week. Another stacked field over there in the Middle East for the Desert Dubai Classic. Morikawa's over there, Rory, Paul Casey, everybody who basically played last week is staying over there. So that's going to be another big field. You're going to need to listen to Mark Hill there. And our boy, the kid money, Garrett Simmons, he's continuing to pump out these Korn Ferry Tour shows. That event's going on right now. So check that out. One more announcement before we bring in our guest, and that is we want to drip some little details on it. Pat, by the way, love the company. You're a company man. Look at that shirt there, that polo shirt. You got the covers on there.
Well, speaking of company man, I mean, how about let me be a TJ company man real quick here. Mm-hmm. Do we drink podcast juice anymore? Because I don't know. The last two shows we just totally gloss over that. Like, we don't even talk about like what our juice is tonight. Like, what are we doing? You're just racing through all these announcements. Like, we can't even relax for a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like, the people want to relax.
I had Diablos right before I came here, and I had some pink lemonade, and I came in and I just poured some Tito's over it. So this is
I
very
like your style there. You just made it like that's efficient. Mm-hmm. You came straight from the restaurant.
Yeah, literally straight kitchen.
And then you just said, you know what? I got this lemonade. I'm just going to pour some Tito's on top of it.
Yeah, I like that. Kids, kissed the wife, bang, bang, boom, bang, bang. And then I poured the vodka and I ran upstairs.
Well, I got a little beer, a beer, a little Yingling from, producer Sam. He'll tell you Yingling is from his hometown or something, his home state. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere like maybe producer Sam was born in the Yingling Brewery. I don't know, but there's some connection to producer Sam.
I was.
Yep.
Yingling, in the Yingling Brewery. Yes, exactly, Pat. Yep.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Yep. But were you conceived in the Yingling Brewery? That's the question. Do you know?
I'll have to ask. Let me text my mom, and I'll get right back to you.
Yeah, run that up the ladder to.
Right. Yeah, running it up.
It's an underrated beer. It's pretty. It's a good beer.
Yeah. Speaking of Pennsylvania, Pat, on the first show of the year, we dropped the big time bomb that we're having a live listener golf event on September 23rd and September 24th in Pennsylvania at producer Sam's, just lovely family course out there, Mountain Valley, right? Mountain Valley? Yeah, Mountain Valley. Beautiful spot, 36 holes, lovely clubhouse, great area. We're going to have a great time. September 23rd and 24th. Okay. You're going to want to make plans. You're probably going to want to make plans on September 25th to just like take it easy, getting out of town. You know what I mean?
Take that day off.
Want to do that. But this golf tournament is going to be different than any golf tournament you've ever been to or that you've ever seen. Okay. I know the 4Play guys do live golf events and the No Laying Up guys, and I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're fantastic. This will have elements of that these guys wish they could pull off, and they're not going to be able to do it. Okay. We have the greatest golf tournaments. I don't have a good Trump impression, but they're the greatest. There's no question about it. They're the greatest golf tournaments. Anyway, we're going to have a great time. I want to drip a little bit of some little extra details to you right now. On September 23rd, that Friday, we are going that event. If you go to that, hold on, I'm being distracted here. Okay, you're gonna have the option to sign up for one of two packages here, either the Friday and Saturday deal, and we'll get pricing rolling out to you very quickly. It's gonna be here before you know it. You're either gonna be able to sign up for the Friday and Saturday deal, or you're gonna be able to just do the Saturday deal. Now, let me tell you what Saturday is first. Saturday is gonna be fun, food, beer, liquor, all the fun stuff, and just, your typical scramble event, okay? We could have a bunch of people out there. We got 36 holes to play around on. So we could have a group on every hole and just have a blast, right? And that would be great. And along with that, there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff happening on the course. Stuff, like I said, you've never seen. We're going to have a good time with it. But here's what I'm really excited about, Pat, as you're in the chat, being distracted.
Sorry.
Is Friday.
Yes, I'm very excited.
I say I'm excited about Friday, but I'm also very concerned.
Yeah, it should be.
Because on Friday, the golf that takes place on Friday will be of epic proportions, and there will be a lot riding on it. The golf event that is taking place on Friday is for the inaugural Golby's Cup, and it will be Team DB versus Team Pat. And when you sign up, you have to declare your allegiance to either Team DB or Team Pat. If we open it up to only a certain number of spots, this is going to be a Ryder Cup style match play golf tournament between the two teams. Me and Pat will not be playing in the beginning. We are going to ride around as captains. We're going to see all members of our team. We're going to evaluate those members of our team for something that would come after the first 18-hole match. And we're gonna have earpieces in, golf carts, uniforms. It's gonna be a blast. But you have to decide whose team you're on when you sign up. And from the moment you step on property on Friday, is war. So if you're Team DB, we're not fraternizing with the enemy over here. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do our thing, and we're gonna be ready to go out there and kick some ass. Is what we're gonna do. Okay. Now, what I'm worried about is that I can get like 20 to 30 people to be on Team DB. So if you're out there listening, and you're thinking, oh man, I like DB. I'm more of a DB guy than Pat. Then I'm gonna need you to sign up for this whenever this opens up. But we're gonna limit Friday. There's not gonna be as many spots available on Friday. It's gonna be a smaller, more intimate event for the diehard, dedicated DB Pat fans. And then after that 18-hole match takes place, there's going to be another very awesome detail that we will drip to you at another date. But I will say that
I don't know if I'm going to get enough for my team.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's. Josh Kistler. Josh Kistler in the chat. You can't make me pick. It's like choosing your ugliest child. Well, you got to pick one, dude. There is no Switzerland option here. You have to pick one if you come on Friday. Then on Saturday, we can all be buddies, whatever, just like they do in the real Ryder Cup, We can all be buddies after that. But Friday is DB versus Pat. It's where's your loyalty? Let's go.
I love it. It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited to be riding around.
Should we tell them about your about the competition that we're going to have, the little side competition?
Yeah, we should go ahead and talk about that.
Go ahead.
So, we've said this for years now. Well, a few years now. Everybody knows that I am I'm a top-ranked player in the world when it comes to the bump and run. I mean, I think player is a good word. I'm a true tournament bump and run player.
Tournament caliber player, yeah.
Tournament caliber player. So there is going to be a bump and run contest, and
kind of the king of the hill. Like who can take?
We'll see if you can take me down. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know how exactly it's going to work, but you better be, working on your bump and run skills up until September, because let me just tell you, I'm very hard to beat when it comes to that.
This is true. I tried to do it, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it successfully the first time.
Yeah. So that's just a little sneak peek of something that I say it's going to happen. Probably that Friday too.
Dylan Garassi's in the chat. He's going to war with you. Yeah. Dylan also was an inaugural member of the Nut Hut, and then got out. He was awesome. He's the guy.
Love Dylan.
I'll never forget this guy. He famously says, he told us that he left a date with a large busted brunette one time because he had to go get in the Nut Hut chat with his internet friends on a Wednesday night. And then he leaves the Nut Hut. I guess things must have worked out between the two of them. He disappears for like a year, and then he joined again today, and he tweets out that he's coming. He's joining the Nut Hut because he misses Pat. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know that I don't know that I can field 20 to 30 guys on my team. I'm gonna have to get creative. Anyway, in the YouTube comments, we're gonna get to our guest here. In the YouTube comments, write down, tell us, like, in any golf tournament that you've played in, Lauderdale tournament or member guest or fun like member tournament at your place, like, what's some of the coolest things you've seen done, or what's something that you think would be really awesome to do at a golf tournament? Give us some more ideas, because Mountain Valley is a playground for us, and we can almost do whatever we want. So let's get lit. Put that in the YouTube comments. We appreciate that. By the way, shout out to Alex Webb, who won the Trap Golf contest last week. Your shipment is on the way. All right, Pat, I think that's enough of that. I think it's time to bring in our guest. Producer Sam, bring in our guest. We all know and love Mr. Caddie John Rathouse. What up, dude?
Caddie John! What's up, man?
Good to see you, man.
Good to be on here.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I was trying to figure out whose team I was going to be on at that little thing. I think I'd have a little bit more fun talking shit to DB, so I'd probably join Pat's team.
This is the problem. Yes. Everybody feels sorry for Pat, so they.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Whoa, no, you're putting words in people's mouths.
It means you don't think Pat can stick up for himself enough. You don't think he can hang, so he needs his big brothers to come out and help him out. I get it, but that's cool. We'll figure it out. But you are going to have to decide, Caddie John. And anybody else out there, you're going to have to decide. And I'm going to know. The problem is, what's going to happen is we're going to have like 30 people registered for Pat's team maxed out and like 6 on mine. And I don't know what we're going to do. I'll have to bring my kids or something. I'll bring my kids. That's what we'll do. All right. Caddie John's with us from the Caddie Network. At Rathouse on Twitter. We know him in the Nut Hut too. He's always in there doing some good stuff. Been on the show a couple times. Former PGA Tour looper. He's got some experience. You've been around this place a few times too, right, Torrey Pines?
I have. I've been around it a few times. Biggest highlight was at the U.S. Open in 2009.
Yeah.
Never really did anything, significant this time of year, but I know the golf course for sure.
All right. What are your thoughts this week? What do you think about it? Give us your course breakdown.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think, being in the fairway off the tee, hitting a lot of greens, obviously, a good thing. But I think, the putting is certainly a big deal. We're on the West Coast. And then I think a sneaky one is like kind of a strokes gained around the green. I really think you're going to find yourself missing a lot of greens on the par fives. They're hard to hit in two. Some of the par threes are really long and stuff. So I think that's a sneaky one to kind of, pay attention to. And then on the other course, the North course, you can get home in those par fives and two a lot more regularly. But man, it's a course where you don't really attack. You just kind of survive. And guy's going to really have to be on his game this week to come through with a W.
Nice. Pat, what do you have to add to that? You want to chime in with your thoughts?
Well, here's something that I wanted to talk about with DB when I was looking through the courses. I mean, obviously we're here every year, and we've got, you get one round on the North course, and then if you make the cut, you're going to get 3 rounds on the South course. But my thing is this, this year, because not every year we would have this narrative, but this year we have the fact that a lot of these players played in the U.S. Open on this course in 2021. So they played this course twice. Do you think that there's potential that we could be putting too much emphasis, if we are, I don't know, on where, how players did in the U.S. Open on this course versus, how it plays normally year in and year out? Because obviously we know a U.S. Open course is a lot different as far as the setup. Even when it's the same course, we had this with Pebble Beach a couple years ago too. So
yeah, I didn't look at this at all. I didn't look at the U.S. Open.
Did you look? Well, I'm not asking you, DB. I'm asking Caddie John. Did you look at the U.S. Open at all when it comes to some of these players?
Yeah, so it's a different time of year for sure. And the course plays softer than it would for a U.S. Open. I will say I was talking to a buddy of mine that used to caddy on tour. He's a San Diego resident. And I was like, how do you think it's going to play this year? And he's like, we haven't had a lot of rain, cooler temperatures. I think it's going to play a little shorter than it has in the past. So, I don't know if Patrick Reed's going to need to take relief from the rough left of 10 this week. So I think, interestingly, for the U.S. Open, as far as I'm concerned, like lines off the tees, that's cool. And then putts. I think, being comfortable on these greens, because this thing sits on the little side of a hill and you've got, the hotel and the medical campus, and then it just gently down a cliff and then over into the ocean. And so, there's guys that putt better here than others. And so a little experience at the U.S. Open, I would weigh that. But outside of it, different time of year.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's not a whole lot from the U.S. Open that I'm going to glean from that. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. DB, do you have thoughts on that? Since you,
you guys want? Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm not looking at that at all. I definitely, think at this time of year it's cooler temperatures. It's probably still gonna be, it's not. Guys were talking about that last year at this tournament and at the U.S. Open when people were asking about it. They were talking about how different it was going to play. So I didn't really look at it a whole lot. I mean, I do think experience here matters. If your only experience here is at the U.S. Open, I don't think that's terrible.
Yeah,
but I would rather have seen somebody play at the Farmers before. I think, was it Rahm's the only person to win on his debut at this golf tournament since like 1957. Now, and you could argue Rahm's kind of, I'm sure he had played plenty around Torrey Pines. He was very familiar with that area. So, I want a little bit of experience, that's for sure. Again, I'm leaning, if we're starting to talk about kind of what we're looking at in terms of handicapping, I'm definitely continuing to lean towards guys that we've seen a good bit of so far already in 2022, which there's not that many guys we haven't seen yet. I think like DJ is one. Joaquin Neiman's another big name that I think we haven't seen. You got to help me out if I'm forgetting another couple, but there's only a handful of guys that we haven't seen just yet. But I'm definitely going to give more of an edge to guys who've been playing already in 2022. And I give length an advantage here. I know it is important to be in the fairway. Obviously, the longer and straighter you can hit it, the better pretty much everywhere. But even if you got to chop it out of this Kikuyu rough, which I don't know if we've talked about that, but this is a unique rough, right, John? It's kind of nasty and gnarly.
It's a sticky, long, thick one. And, chopping it out, that's one thing. And then the other thing where you talk about experience around this place, I think, you can get club on the ball, but it's, what does it do once it gets on the green? And I think that's where the experience comes in play, where guys, the chipping facility here is horrible. It's like this tiny little quarter-sized chipping green, so you got to get your work done out on the golf course. Now we're talking about, hey, 2 days of prep, guys drive it over from. So that's an interesting fact. Are you guys weighing that at all this week? Because it's like, are you ready for some football? They justified it over the weekend, right? It's like, we need to watch football on Sunday.
Yeah. Have we even mentioned that the tournament actually starts on Wednesday? I think we forgot to do that. It runs Wednesday to Saturday this year, which I think is a smart idea. But yeah, it's gonna make for a quick turnaround, guys coming in off playing the MX. So
that makes you wonder how much they're going to get to see of both courses, especially even if we're talking about like the fact that having some history here or experience here really matters. You're probably going to have less experience, especially for these new guys that haven't really seen all that much. That's going to be even less because there's no way you can really fit it in.
No, the new guys are definitely at a disadvantage, even more so this week, because there'll be a Pro-Am tomorrow. So they, and if you're smart, maybe you figured out a way to go check it out before you went over to Hawaii or whatever, before you played the Amex. But those guys are at even more of a disadvantage this week.
Do you think that it throws them off at all, the fact that there's two different putting surfaces between? I know they have 3 days if they make the cut on the south, so they get POA for 3 days, but they get pure bent for the north course, and then they get that the bouncy weed of a grass of POA. Does it throw them off at all, or does it not really matter to you?
I don't know if it matters. Maybe a guy that likes to putt bent a little bit more will like that surface, but these guys have done it enough to know that, last week you had 3 different courses. So people are doing the whole, how's La Quinta running and the other 2. So, I think it's not enough to keep you up at night for sure.
I like what you said too, John, about the around the green play. I definitely looked at that, kind of coming together on some plays I like here. I think it's like one of the lowest percent, the South course, like one of the lowest percentage fairways hit and greens and regulations. Everything's lower than average. So you guys are going to miss. greens. And so just being able to scramble, get up and down, make par when you need to on the South Course for those 3 days, hopefully that they make it, all the way to Saturday. So I'm definitely weighing that in as well. Is there anything else, John, that you feel like you need to drop in here before we let you go?
No, I think, I mean, other than, it's a big boy golf tournament, it's one of those where it's like, I'd love to get busy with the longer odds and stuff. I mean, you took advantage of that last week, DB, and it's probably gonna be harder to find that one this week. I found some guys in there that I like, but I don't know about,
who's
the
your
longer odds guys.
Who's your favorite, give me like two that you feel like are really good values, like that you're like, oh man, that's a good number.
Values. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to stay on the Uncle Tom Hoagie train. I mean, I'm not going to get off of it, but he hasn't won, and he definitely hasn't won here. I'm not going to steal your thunder on one of these guys. I know you're going to him later. I won't mention him. I'll give you Lanto Griffin as well at 66. And then I really like Will Zalatoris this week. Willie Z, we had his caddy, Ryan Goebel on a Caddie Network on location last week, and he was really fired up about West Coast stuff. So
yeah.
Why do you say you're not going to steal DBs and then you take one of mine?
I took Do you know who DBs is, don't you, Pat?
I do, but I mean, I knew mine was also, and then you just said them. So
I'm sorry. I'm on your side.
That's okay.
Right.
You can steal one of them.
You guys can check out Caddie John on Twitter. He's also at the Caddie Network. John, tell us what's going on with all that. What are you want to update us on what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited with what I'm doing with the Caddie Network. A little bit more involved this year. We're talking to caddies every week, multiple times throughout the week. And I got a podcast dropping on Thursday. We're doing Thursday every other week, but I spent Sunday with Gino, and it really turned out well. He had some podcast juice going. He was in his bunk bed at his house in Idaho. We told a lot of stories, so that's going to be on Thursday on the Caddie Network social media. So
was that his house or his trailer?
His trailer, and he's in a bunk bed, and then his son sleeps above, and then him and his wife Holly was there too.
Yeah, they need to get building.
They're building, but yeah, they're having a little. But we had a good time. He's so good. So I was interested in what happened in that match there today with Higgs and the boys at Goat Hill Park. But yeah, Gino on Thursday. That I'd recommend people check that out. Caddie Network.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I'm looking forward to catching all that this year. I also saw I saw an Instagram story today from our boy Roger Steele, who we had on last week. He was videoing Charles Kelly, who's been on the podcast before, lead singer of Lady Annabella. He was videoing some concert that he was doing, but there's a video of him. Joel Damon grabs the microphone from Charles, and you can tell he's absolutely hammered, and he's like in front of this big crowd of people, and they're yelling at Charlie Hoffman, and Joel's like, he's got the microphone, and Charles is standing over and like, what are you doing? He's like, Charlie, I'll give you $1,000 for every inch of that mullet you grow out, or whatever. And he's like talking trash to Charlie Hoffman. He's totally blitzed. Oh God, it was a classic Joel Damon look.
For sure. Those guys are so authentic. So big fans of theirs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, Caddie John. We'll catch you in the Nut Hut, man. Appreciate you.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, John.
Of course. Caddie John bringing the goods. We appreciate him. Pat, who else brings the goods? Fujikura. We've been talking about Fujikura doing their thing. The Ventus TR's first week introduced on the PGA Tour was for the Amex, although Cam Smith was rocking it at the Century Tournament of Champions, won the Century Tournament of Champions with the Ventus TR shaft. They got a lot of good feedback last week from the player testing. More to come with a lot of the Fuji's shafts in the Farmers. Here's the #1 driver and wood shaft also at the Amex. 19% of all wood shafts, driver, fairways, and hybrids were a Ventus model. That's more than all but 2 other shaft brand totals. The TR is a new mid-launch, low-spin profile with new material added for additional stability. That's what I need. I need that stability to keep that thing from doing all this and my ball from going left and right. I got to get my towards right. My towards is typically broken. I got to get it right. The Ventus TR is helping me do that. It's the new addition to the Ventus line. Ventus TR is available for $350 MSRP to buy online or through custom fittings at any charter dealer starting February 1st. So we're talking about that new Ventus, that Ventus TR from Fujikura. We appreciate them. Listen, just wherever you go to get your driver, your hybrids, your fairway woods, whatever it is, get fit. Even if you suck, get fit. You always got to
showing
get
that
fit.
thing off at the PGA show this week.
They probably are. It's probably
nobody can get it yet, but February 1st.
Yep, you can look, but you can't touch. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? All right, let's get to it, Pat. Talking top of the betting board here. I don't, what are we doing? You got John Rahm 6.5 to 1. I know I'm not doing that. Justin Thomas 12 to 1. Xander 14. Hideki down there. Berger. Bryson's at 22. DJ making his first appearance of 2022. He's at 22 to 1. Finau and Leishman, they're at 25 to 1. I'm looking at some other books here and shopping some numbers as we go. If we're talking about guys just up to 25 to 1 in that shorter range, I got one guy. And this guy hadn't played the Farmers in a while. But it's Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going to bet Bryson DeChambeau at 22 to 1. I think it's great value. I think he's a different golfer than when he played it in 2018, 2017. Obviously, it's not the U.S. Open, but he's got some familiarity with this golf course. And I think, Bryson could have a heck of a week with his pop and with his putting ability. He's comfortable on POA. I'm rolling Bryson at 22 to 1. That's the only one here in this range I'm getting down with. And my stay away is going to be DJ. I kind of foreshadowed it earlier. Just first event back, shaking the rust off. I don't know that that's an outright win bet for me. Even a guy like DJ on West Coast, I know it's DJ, but strong field, tough golf course, tough conditions. First event out, I just see DJ as being one of those guys who he's coming to this event so he can shake the rust off. He's not coming because he's already been doing work and here he is. I don't even know that he's played. Yeah, he hasn't even chosen to play this event since 2017. So it just feels like he's added it because he has to add a new course every 4 years or something. If you don't play, I don't know what the rule is, but he's got to add new courses. And it's like, I guess I'll do this. And here we are. So to outright bet him, I'm not going to do it. And so obviously with the tendency of these mid-range to shorter guys winning this week, I got a lot more in these next couple ranges, but Bryson's it for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there on DJ. I think, you look at the numbers for him. I mean, 22 to 1, a guy like DJ, that's certainly enticing, but I still just don't see it here for him. I do like Bryson. I'm with you there. I think that number for him though at 22 to 1 is pretty good. I think, are we not allowed to do a 25 to 1, or is that like the next range?
You are allowed to do it. Yeah, it says
so.
Up.
You don't want to look at.
We've only been doing this for I don't know.
You don't want to look at Sam Burns. I'm just shocked that you didn't mention Sam Burns at 25 to 1. I mean, I love Sam Burns this week.
I love Sam Burns. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
You look across the board. I mean, he's top 20 in approach off the tee. I mean, he's accurate off the tee, which is you get a lot of things from you guys that it can have a lot of distance and, certainly fit the course profile here because you got to have distance, but they're not very accurate off the tee, but he certainly is. He's a great putter. So I love Sam Burns there at 25 to 1. And then I'm going to go Xander at 17 to 1. I think, he's a guy that for a long time here, I say a long time, but for a few years here, everybody wanted to take Xander and he missed the cut, whatever. But he finished T2 here last year in this event. I think Xander is a very good play there at that 17 to 1 number. The guy I want to avoid though is Justin Thomas at 12 to 1. I mean, I don't know when he's played here outside of the U.S. Open in the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know if he's ever played here in the Farmers, but I just don't like his experience on this course. Yes, he, his last time out, he had a T5 at the Century, but I don't want to do 12 to 1 on Justin Thomas. That's just not.
I can get down with that.
I'm not with that. So he's the guy that I would avoid here. So I would go Burns 25 to 1, Xander 17 to 1. And I don't mind the Bryson pick either.
Yeah, I think for me, Burns was probably where I would have gone next, but there were so many names in these next couple ranges that I was like, I probably just need to keep it tight, up top. And Mark Horn in the chat asked about Bryson's wrist because he withdrew from the Sony because of his wrist. But listen, his wrist is fine. If you were paying attention, which Bryson loves putting himself out there on social media, I think 3 days later he was filming himself breaking like his new ball speed record out in the desert somewhere, like 210. Kyle Berkshire was back
Bryson
there jacking him off.
He conveniently, withdrew from the semi.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about Bryson's wrist. Okay. Let's get to this mid-range. Now, this is going to be tough to narrow down here, Pat. You got Sung Jae at 30, Koepka at 35-1. Willie Z, we've mentioned Spieth, McNeely, Wolf, Connors, all these guys down to kind of that Luke List, Homa, Tringali range. Now, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Pat. We talked about when Brooks Koepka is one of those guys, when he gets over a certain number, I think we said 25-1 or 30-1, that you just auto bet him because of the ability for him to turn it on when he wants to at any given moment, compete with the best in the world on the best, courses in the world, and dominate and win and close the door. Are you going to do that this week with Brooks Koepka? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I am. I think.
Did I just talk you into that, or you were already planning?
No,
on
I already had him written down. I mean, he's 35-1. I think the best odds you're going to get him at are 35-1. Look, I mean, if he's on and he's driving the ball great, and his approach play is where it should be. Everything, like, you look at when now I know we talked about the U.S. Open and blah, blah, whatever. He did finish 4th here though in the U.S. Open. He does not have a great history here outside of last year in the U.S. Open. So, he's missed the cut twice in 17 and then 2021. I don't know how much 2017 really matters. But still, I like Brooks Koepka at 35-1. He has all the intangibles to do, extremely well on this course. If he has a good putting week and he's good with, his irons on approach, which is where he's been a little bit weak lately, then there could be some problems. But I still think I'm going to go. I'm going with the rule. Okay. Brooks Koepka, if he's over 25-1, I'm going to play him.
Okay, good. I'm not. I think I'm out. Okay. I do think this is a place, and I know that's the rule. I do think this is a place that he doesn't, obviously he hasn't made a habit of being here very often. And what we've seen of him lately is not very good. So I think for that reason, I am going to bow out. There's a lot of names in here that I like. I mean, I think that the name that probably Caddie John was referring to that he knew he would steal my thunder on would be Maverick McNeely, who I am desperately in love with betting-wise and will continue to fire away unabashedly with Maverick McNeely. He is 70-1 right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. He's 45-1 on DraftKings. A great reason to have multiple books. He's 60-1 on PointsBet, 66 on BetMGM. So, I mean, FanDuel's giving you some value there. Maverick McNeely has been playing outstanding. He just has got to close the door eventually. I just feel like it's coming. He thrives on this West Coast stuff. He thrives on POA. The ball striking is there. I'm not going to quit Maverick McNeely when I can grab that 70-1 number right here. Now, if all I had was that 45-1 option, I think I'm probably out because I just can't see betting him. He's in that Willie Zalatoris range. That's another player I like. I like Will at 30. Right now, you can get him at his line's moved a little bit today. He's at 33-1 on BetMGM. That's the best number you can get him. He's 30-1 on DraftKings. So if you have an MGM account, you can get him at 33-1 right now. He was 35-1 on DraftKings earlier today. He's shortened a little bit. So, but I love Willie Zalatoris here as well. Obviously, Caddie John talked about it. He is looking forward to this West Coast stuff. And he played great last week. I mean, he could have won. He kind of I don't know. He was like a little flat coming out of the gate on Sunday, but he kind of turned it on the back nine. So he's one I like. Let me ask you about two guys last week that really screwed me royally in DFS, and that is Taylor Gooch and Corey Connors. The best number on Gooch right now is on FanDuel at 55-1 and Connors at 50-1 on either DraftKings or BetMGM. If you look at what these two guys did last week, which is trunk slam after round 3, it's not like they weren't awful. Like, I looked at Taylor Gooch. He still gained strokes on approach, which is all he does. Like, he's just such a great iron player. He was dead even on the field off the tee, but he had a horrible week chipping. He lost like 3.5 strokes chipping, which he never does. He's usually positive there. Corey Connors also missed the cut, but was positive in almost every category. He just didn't blow it out he just didn't blow it out and score enough, right? So I think I could be convinced to hop back on betting Gooch. Probably not going to bet Corey Connors, but I think I could get back on Gooch. He's got a good record here as well, I believe. Yeah, nothing to write home about last couple of years, but a T3 in 2019, hasn't missed a cut in 4 attempts here at the Farmers. So I could get back on the Gooch train at 55-1 on FanDuel. What do you think of those two guys?
No
on both.
No on both. I don't want any part of them to bet them.
Why?
I don't. For one, I don't think Corey Connors. This is a course for him, and I also don't think that he's not really playing fantastic lately for his standards. Coming off a missed cut there.
It is kind of weird that we've given Corey Connors. Like, I do think the industry gives Connors a lot of credit in the outright market. Like, we bet on him a lot in the outright market when he's only won once, right?
Yeah.
He's only won one. I'm not making that up.
I mean, I would between the two, I'd probably go Gooch if you want.
Yeah, that's
outright.
what I'm saying. I think outright I'm going Gooch, but I could see being tempted to get back on Corey Connors in DFS.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of salty towards Corey Connors lately. And I didn't even play him last week, and he missed a cut, which is fine, but I don't know. I'm not feeling him lately. So, but I'll tell you who I am.
Okay.
I do like Willie Z, which you mentioned. I like Tony Finau, 30-1. Incredible history here. He probably burned a lot of people last week with that T40, but I think this is just a great course for Tony Finau. And he's obviously shown that with what he's done here over the past. I mean, let's just look at his finishes here. Last 5 years, T4 in 17, T6 in 18, T13 in 2019, T6 in 2020, T2 last year in 2021. That's pretty damn good. That means he's come extremely close. I know Finau is like one of those guys that just cannot get over the hump and win a lot. But still, 30-1 with a guy with that kind of history here. I love him, and I will play that. Here's another one. I'll go back to Scotty Scheffler after last week. I know he's got a terrible history here, but he's a great total driver of the ball, has the distance, has the accuracy. I think this is a good course for him. I still, despite what he's done in the last couple of years, I still think he's a different player. I'm getting him at 34-1. I like that number also. Two others that I like. Another one first with great course history here. Actually, both of these guys. You're going to laugh at me, and I don't care.
You're like all over. You're like dry humping all the course history.
I love this range. I love this range.
This course history.
Justin Rose and Ryan Palmer.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up Justin Rose. I was going to ask you this because I wrote him down as kind of I'm warming up a little bit. Do we think that Justin Rose is going to win? Can he win again?
I absolutely think he can win again. Yes, I do. And obviously, we know he's won this tournament before. So I think
the last time he's won anything was that 2019.
That was 2018.
Was that the last?
I feel like he's won.
Yeah, no, it was 2019. It was 2019. He won the Farmers in 2019. That was his last victory. According to Fantasy National. Maybe they have the year off.
I think they have the year off. I think the year's off there. I could be wrong, but I feel like the year's off. I thought it was 2018. Either way, before that, he had a really good history.
Rose, 2019.
Okay.
2018 was Jason Day. Also, holy crap. David Speaks gave us $100 super chat in the YouTube. Shout out David Speaks. I said 10,000. He gave us 100. I should have said $1 million. But thank you, David. We appreciate it, man. Yeah. David's been freaking killing it.
Anyway, I do think Justin Rose could win, and he's been playing pretty well lately. I mean,
he has been.
These older guys, we tend to Why do we forget about the older guys sometimes? We tend to just want to like go with
It's
all these like
ageism. You
early
love-
on in the, we're pretty ageist on this damn podcast sometimes. And he's been playing well. He had that T12 at the RSM, T33 last week at the MX. I don't mind Rose as an outright. I really don't.
Yeah, I wrote him down. I don't know. I probably won't. I probably won't have him, but I wrote him down.
And then Ryan Palmer. I mean,
you
Ryan
mentioned
Palmer is
God,
60
you are
to
just
1.
all over the course history, aren't you? I mean, I do think course history matters here more than it did like last week for sure. And Palmer's been playing good too. I wrote him down. He's one I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, he's not just. It's not just the course history. I mean, he's playing well too.
So the best number you can get on him, 60 to 1. Yeah. Let me go one more guy up in that Finau range. This is the reason I would not bet Finau and probably, well, Scheffler's short in that. Like, I think if I were going to hit two shorter guys that I think are good value, I mentioned Bryson already, but I like Sung Jae here. I'm feeling a little bit of Sung Jae this week, coming off a T11 at the Amex, continuing to just hit the ball so nice. Now, one thing I didn't mention, so Taylor Gooch, Sung Jae M, Siwoo Kim, and KH Lee, 3 Asians and a Gooch, are all playing their 4th tournament in a row, which is, I mean, take it for what you want. Like, we talked to a lot of tour pros that start saying after week 3, everything starts kind of falling apart a little bit. I don't think that applies to Sung Jae M. Like, Sung Jae plays a lot of golf, so I'm not too worried about it. But just last week, I mean, gaining almost 9 shots on approach last week at the Amex, just continues to just hit the ball so well. Gain strokes on POA. He's 32 to 1 is the best number you can find for him. He's made the cut here every time he's played it, and he's gotten better every time. 52nd his first time out, 36th the year after, and 32nd in 2021. So, no like top 25s or anything, but I think he's knocking on the door. He's obviously coming off a win in the fall at the Shriners that you hit. I think Sung Jae is going to continue to keep this thing rolling, and 32 to 1. I think I'd rather have that than Finau, just from the, and I know this is like Finau's spot, but just the way that they're both playing right now, I'd rather have M. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's kind of the top of the board. All right, let's move into this, like kind of getting into the long range up to 125 to 1. Before we do that though, Pat, I know you've just had a big coffee breakthrough. You just bought your big machine, your big coffee machine. That's like $1 million machine that took you still haven't figured it out. Maybe you like a full-bodied roast or a light roast. We all have our preferences of what we like to drink and how we like our coffee in the morning. And our friends at Trade Coffee make it easier to brew your best cup right there at home. So whether you're a coffee nerd or you just want a little bit better daily cup, that's where I was. I'll tell you about me. Trade Coffee's real coffee experts taste test over 400 roasts and use technology to match you to your ideal coffee based on your preferences and brewing method. What happened to me is I go, you know what? I'm tired of this Keurig. It told me like 6 years ago that I had to change the filter, and I never have. So Lord knows what kind of carcinogens I'm taking into my body when I drink my coffee every morning. And it just doesn't feel right. You got to
descale that thing.
I never do that. So then when Trade Coffee comes up, I'm like, yeah, I'll take a bag of that goodness and I'll do a little French press or something. So I get this fresh bag. It literally, and you go through the website and you type in how you like it, what you want, It's like picking your, it's like very custom. And I get it delivered. It's delicious. It even has the date that they like roasted the beans and everything. It's beautiful. It's got like a born on date. And for our listeners right now, Trade Coffee is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags of coffee when you go to drinktrade.com/Tour Junkies. So to get started, you go on that website, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/Tour Junkies and start your journey to your perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/Tour Junkies for $20 off your first 3 bags of coffee. It's good stuff. I can personally testify to it. Pat, have you used yours in your new machine yet?
I have not used it in the new machine. It is on the way. I cannot wait to try it.
You need to do like an Instagram story or something of you brewing your, a Pat demoing your new coffee machine.
Yeah. It's a spaceship. It literally is a spaceship coffee machine, but it makes some fantastic. Well, it's really not. It's it's espresso. What it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm even learning how to froth the milk and put like a heart Put like a heart on the top.
Shut up. You cannot do that. Can you really do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
No, you can't.
Sometimes. Yeah. It's how
Sometimes?
if you froth it correctly, it
No way.
yeah.
Can you do other shapes? Can you do like a wiener or something on there? You deliver that to your wife?
I mean, I could if I wanted to, but
Say,
I mean,
hey, look,
hey,
more
look,
where there's
here's some
more where that
coffee
comes
that I
from,
brought you.
shawty. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I like
Like
it.
actual size?
No, it's not actual size.
Okay. All right, getting to the long shots here. So let's look at guys
Okay.
up like that 125, the one number. I got 3 names in here that I love.
Okay.
Luke List. I'm gonna go ahead and get out the way.
I hope we have a few different names here. Don't steal
love
my
Luke
guys.
here. You gotta love Luke here. You love him, don't you? You like him here? Huh?
I do like Luke. I like
All right.
Luke.
I know it's good if you like him here, and he's playing solid. 22nd at the Amex. You know, he had a good fall. I think he's going to keep it rolling. He loves this place. I don't know if he talked about this exact place on our show, but I feel like he did. He loves the West Coast. Putts better out here than he putts anywhere else. 10th here last year, 36th the year before that, 40th the year before that, 12th the year before that. Luke's got plenty of experience here, and he is just hitting his ball really well right now. And obviously, Poe is his best surface. He can score. He is 90-1 on FanDuel last I looked. Let me make sure that's the case. Let's see. Yes, he is still 90-1 on FanDuel, which is a pretty nice value compared to like DraftKings. He's 70-1. So I'm all in on Luke List. I'll just button this up here. Keegan Bradley, I'm on. The best number you can get on him right now is on DraftKings at 80-1. You know, it's all about the ball striking for me. It's the combination of distance and accuracy off the tee that I'm really liking this week. Keegan coming off the 12th place finish at the Sony. The ball striking was money. He's played great at the Farmers. Got a great history here. A 16th last year, a 5th and a 4th in back-to-back years in 18 and 17. He's played it at like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 times. He's missed 2 cuts in the last 10 years. He loves this place. Keegan Bradley, I'm all about as well. And then I did have written down our boy Caddie John mentioned Tom Hoge. You know, he's 100-1 on DraftKings. And, Hoagie's he's not closed the door on his first PGA Tour win, but he's come so close so many times. I feel like he could do it at any. I feel like he's another one that could kind of just do it at any moment. He's a little more volatile, and he's been volatile here. He's either been miscut here, 5th or 12th at the Farmers. Okay, that's his record at the Farmers. And I mean, look at his last 3 events: runner-up at the Amex, miscut at the Sony the week before that, 4th place at the RSM. Like, he kind of is this boomer bust, very volatile guy. But when he's boom, he's top 5 contending boom. So, I think 100-1 on Tom Hoge, coming off that runner-up finish, hitting it well, coming to an event that he's got good, a good couple runs at. I like Hoge at 100-1. So that's it for me in this range.
All right. Well, I'll give you a couple here. And Caddie John kind of stole my thunder with one of these guys, but Lonto Griffin at 80-1. I think that's a good number for him. He's sort of a streaky type player. Finished 3rd at the Amex last week. Had a great week when you look at, his putting. He was, plus 3.5 strokes on the field. He was, +3 almost on strokes gained approach. Checked the box in scrambling last week, which I think is something that is going to be huge this week. He was top 10 here last year. I think he finished 7th place. If you look at his last several rounds, he checks the box on strokes gained approach and putting. So I think Lonto Griffin at 80-1 is a very good number there for him. Another guy, kind of a longer shot guy in here, is Jonathan Vegas at 125-1. Now, he's one of those guys I think that's just always spotty. Like, you never know what you're going to get from Vegas. But when you get a guy like him who's won plenty of times on tour at 125-1, I think that he's a great bet this week. I love him. And so I will play some Johnny Vegas there at that 125-1 number. Look, his history isn't, it's kind of spotty here as well. But still, I am a big fan of Vegas this week.
All right. Well, should we get into like the big bombs here?
Yeah.
There's a few down here. I would much rather have a lot of these guys in the top 20 range. So maybe I'll probably spend more time on the top 20s for these. But I do think, I think there are 2. I don't even want to say no, I'm not even going to say that one name. I'm going to save that one. There's one guy in here. Let me make sure his number's still the same because his number probably.
Good Lord. Look at all those names.
All right. Yes. Same one. Okay. So Gary Woodland is 160 to 1 on FanDuel. And he's 100 to 1, 110 to 1, and 125 to 1 on every other book. So I'm immediately drawn to the value there with Woodland. And he is coming off a miscut, his first start of 2022 at the Amex, where, he didn't do anything like super terrible, actually. In fact, like tee to green, he was negative 0.2 strokes. So it's not like he was awful in anything. He was just, it looks like, 3 rounds of just rusty golf. Like, I'm just going to shake the rust off. It's tournament golf. It is what it is. I'm just going to come out here and see what I have. And what he had wasn't quite good enough to play the extra day on Sunday, but he got 3 good rounds in. He comes to Torrey, a place that he's very familiar with. He's been playing Torrey since every year he's come here since 2011. Every single year. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 times. He's missed 1 cut. He's got a 9th, a 12th, a 20th, an 18th, a 10th, another a 27th. Like, he's got a tremendous record. His ball striking at Torrey is always fantastic. And even the thing that always gets him down is putting. But he's gained strokes on almost, he's gained strokes on 5 of the 11 years that he's played here. He's gained strokes putting. So there's something about the POA that I think does better for Gary. 161, just a big number on a guy that could win. So Gary Woodland is the only big number that I really like here at this tournament. Going back to what we said at the beginning, in the last 10 years, nobody longer than 60 to 1 has. Oh God, nobody. Did you see that?
Yeah, what happened?
My chair, the lever accidentally got pulled. I shrank. Nobody's actually won this thing longer than 60 to 1 in the last 10 years. So it's probably not going to happen this year. But Gary Woodland at 160 just seems like a good value. That's it.
I have a few in here, but when you mention Gary Woodland, it makes me think
Gary Woodland
from Kansas.
Nice.
Nice
pull.
Yeah, that was a good one. It makes me think of my hair thinning.
And
I don't like, and I also like in 2022, I'm all about natural things, DB.
Are you?
So yeah, I'm all about natural. So, when it comes to thinning hair, I don't want like prescription stuff. Okay. I want a holistic solution for men, that promotes healthier hair and whole body wellness. Cause I'm all about whole body wellness these days.
Yeah.
Without drugs, without prescriptions. I want whole body, like wholesome around the whole body. It's like a bubble of wholesome. So if you talk about it, and here's another thing, DB, did you know the root cause of thinning hair? Nutrafol is the hair supplement that goes beyond genetics to target stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, and environmental factors that may be impacting your hair. There's all these things coming out of nowhere that can impact your hair. Nutrafol is clinically shown to improve hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage without compromise.
Praise God. 21
potent natural ingredients support sex drive, better sleep, and less stress too. So you get all of this in Nutrafol. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 1,500 doctors. 1,500. Okay? DB, I just want you to know you can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code Tour Junkies to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Here's another thing. You get free shipping on every order. Get $15 off, free shipping at Nutrafol.com. That is spelled with the letters Nutrafol.com. Promo code Tour Junkies. Get you some Nutrafol. Get you some body health, some hair health, and everything else right this minute. I understand if you need a hot dog. I understand it.
Mark Horn in the YouTube chat said, Larry King is gone, but his ad reads live on. That got me. That got me.
I mean, Nutrafol, man, I'm telling you. Look, I'm
good.
thinning up here, but it's getting better because I'm.
Yeah, Charlie in the chat told me that I got bags under my eyes. So I mean, apparently I need more sleep. So I'm gonna hit it up for that sleep help.
Look, you get a lot with Nutrafol, not just hair
sleep
growth,
assistance,
not just hair growth.
All right, we need to hit some top 20s quickly, and then give our early favorites and leans here. Top 20s for me. I mean, listen, I love Sung Jae at plus 140. I love Luke List at plus 250. I've already bet Luke List at plus 250. I love Maverick McNeely at plus 160. I love Willie Zalatoris at plus 140. Keegan plus 275. Hoagie plus 330. Those are my favorites. Now, a couple of like bomb top 20s. Joseph Bramlett at plus 500. He's been playing great. West Coast player.
He stole one from me. I like that one too.
He's been playing good, isn't he? I like Joseph Bramlett. We're going to talk about him in the next show for sure. My boy Cam Davis, we didn't talk about how Aussies and South Africans love kikuyu grass and they're comfortable on it and all that stuff. Cam Davis coming here to the Farmers at 4-1 as a top 20 is very interesting to me. So that's probably it. Anybody else for you?
I'll give you a couple. I like Bramlett too. He was one that I liked. I think CT Pan is sneaky at plus 400.
He loves some CT Pan sometimes.
Yeah, he's done well here before though. He likes this course. Lonto Griffin is plus 275. A guy we didn't mention, Aaron Wise, plus 220. He scares me to bet outright because I don't know when he's ever going to win because every time I bet him outright, he never wins. But I do like that plus 220 number on him as well. I think that's a good one. I think that's all I got. I got a few others in here. By the way, I didn't even get to mention my long shots.
Oh, sorry.
Because I was busy doing my wonderful ad read for Nutrafol.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Wyndham Clark at 190-1. I like Wyndham Clark, man, this week.
I'd rather have that as a top 20. I like Wyndham Clark. I would rather have that as a top 20.
Bombs it, putts well on POA. He's fifth in the field. 2 top 35s here. I like Wyndham Clark, 190-1.
I like that as a 4-1 top 20.
Okay. And then, did you mention your boy Cam Davis?
I just did as a top 20, 4-1.
Okay. I like him outright.
Not to win.
I don't mind him outright either.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right, we've thrown a bunch of names at you. We've thrown a bunch of names at you for the Farmers Insurance Open 2022 from Torrey Pines. But now I just want to give you the ones that we really like and we feel like you need to jump on right now. Presented by Covers, where you need to go. Winning starts at Covers, helping over 25 million sports bettors annually. Covers presents this show, and they're fantastic. We appreciate them. So check them out. Our article for head-to-heads and top 20s and any prop bets that we like only goes up on Covers. It's there exclusively, and it is free, and it only takes about 5 minutes to read it. So check that out. That'll be dropping probably on Tuesday, late Tuesday afternoon is usually when it drops. So, Pat, let's talk outrights. Our favorite bets and early leans that we like right now. I'm going to say 2 names here. Sung Jae and Will Zalatoris. So I'm probably taking your Wills out. You can probably go ahead and double down on Will Zalatoris. So right now you can get Sung Jae best odds at 32-1 on FanDuel. Will Zalatoris is 33-1 on BetMGM. And those odds have on Willie Z have shortened in the last few hours. So I would hop on that. Both these guys are obviously playing well. Will Zalatoris is, he's got the West Coast swing circled on the calendar to get that first PGA Tour win. And I like the value on both those guys. Maverick McNeely at 70-1. I've talked ad nauseum about another West Coast player. He's playing great. He's come so close a couple times. He's ready to close the door. He's 70-1 on FanDuel. Luke List at 90-1. I absolutely love on FanDuel. Another West Coast guy who loves this time of year, playing great as well. So those are my outrights that I'm loving, and then I'll pretty much back those in top 20 markets. M is plus 140. Willie Zalatoris is plus 140. Luke List is plus 250. And then I'll give you two more. Keegan Bradley at plus 275 and Tom Hoagie at plus 330. Those are all bets that I will go ahead and take right now at those numbers and be very happy about it because I don't think they're getting any longer. So I'm hopping on it. Pat, what you got?
Okay. Well, I will start with Xander at 17-1. Love that bet for him. I mean, just a, he's just a fantastic golfer. He's, obviously going to be one of the next studs on tour or is already a next stud on tour. So I love him at 17-1. Also, I'll go with Sam Burns at 25-1. I'm just going to, you just got to keep riding the Sam Burns train. He is fantastic. So I love him there. I love Tony Finau at 30-1. I'll go with him. And then I'll also go with Brooks Koepka at 35-1. All those right there. I think you can really live in this range less than 50-1. We've seen that over the years with all the guys that win this tournament. So I'm going to, probably sit right here there and just go with the shorter odds guys. Finau, Koepka, Xander, Sam Burns. If I'm going longer odds, I love Lanto Griffin. I think an 80-1 number is a very good number on him. Get him while he's streaky and while he's hot. I like that. For top 20s, Lanto is also at plus 275. I like that. I like Bramlett at plus 500. I think that's a really good number for top 20. I think we need to add that in there.
That's a bomb. That's a bomb top 20.
That's a bomb top 20, but I really like that. He's really been good lately.
Yeah.
And if you check the stats for him, they definitely check out for this course. So I love him.
Love it. Awesome. There you go. Listen, that is the betting show for the Tour Junkies Farmers Insurance Open 2022. Be sure and comment on the YouTube channel if you have not already. That helps us out, helps get the word out on the show. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe as well. But the comment that we really want is, what do you want to see at a golf tournament? We've got our first live golf tournament going on in September. We can pull out all kind of stops here for this thing. So, if you played in a charity event or a scramble or a member event that they did something unique, they did something fun that you really enjoyed, or that maybe you haven't seen done before, but you got a good idea, give it to us. We want them. We need them. We're going to work them in our golf event in September. So put that in the YouTube comments. And let's have a great week. See you in the Nut Hut. So much winning going on in the Nut Hut last week for the American Express. Come get in there with us. Let's have some fun. Let's have some community. We all need community, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
All of us.
We love some community.
Listen, my new catchphrase that I've added thanks to my tequila-ness last week on the American Express is at the end of the betting show, because I'm not going to say, may your screens be green, because, that really only applies to DFS stuff. But apparently I said last week, bend over your bookie. Let's have a week. So bend over your bookie this week. Make them pay. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Bend
See ya.
them.